Hello, 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 my darlings. It's Katerina Satori. It's an impromptu live stream, which is so my style. And I just felt inspired to connect with you guys. Just share from the heart a few words of inspiration, a few words of hope. I believe we all can benefit from more hope and upliftment. And ultimately, we're here to celebrate our journeys and to participate in each other's dreams. Hi, Katie. Welcome, beautiful darlings. I'm going to wait a few seconds for people to join. I'm honored to share a few moments with you. If it's the first time we meet, my name is Katerina Satori. I'm originally from Russia. I am American by choice and galactic by origin. And my life is devoted to humanity, to sharing more light on this planet in a way that benefits the whole. That's kind of like in a summary if you and I never met. Kylie, hello, hello. I see beautiful faces. And you guys, with every soul station that I do, I would love to really create the time for live Q&A, right? So please, please, please ask me a question that you maybe wanted to ask me for a long time. Or maybe you will not know that question until like at the end of the live stream and that something comes out of you. You're like, I really want to ask Katerina that question. There is no wrong question. There is no silly question. There is no unimportant question. Sometimes just giving something a voice helps you to unlock something, right? Simply by not being afraid to give somebody and something a voice. So that's what the soul station is for, you know, to give a voice to what's in the field, what's around us, what is emerging from all of us. That's right, Kylie. I am a galactic by origin, the star child. That's so true. How many of you guys feel that you are not from this planet? Well, you know, we, of course, this is our home. This is our Earth home. But we came from the stars. Star origin, star people. Yes, darlings. So every time Jennifer. Ooh, we got some questions. Jessica's asking, have you ever used ayahuasca? I am curious, how did you, what ignited that question, Jessica? Yes, absolutely. Had an honor and the privilege to work with that plant medicine for over 8 years. So great question. I'd love to answer it. I will absolutely answer it. Yes, Ankara says Arcturian. Oh my goodness. Of course you are. I remember when I was connecting to Arcturian civilization and the energy and, you know, really learning to allow these future technologies to come into my life and learning to work with them and learning to receive healing from them. So beautiful. Hello, Sam. Welcome, darlings. Welcome. You know, this topic about the art of finding peace within turbulence. Every time I get on the plane and I fly, you guys, I don't really like flying. It's not my favorite thing. It dehydrates the body. It's kind of like tiring. But to tell you the truth, between you and I really don't like turbulence. And when I fly alone and somebody next to me, I usually tend to, you know, like grab somebody's hand, whoever is next to me. Turbulence makes me feel uncomfortable. And, you know, whenever I fly on a long distance, let's say it's 12 hours or 13 hours, there's going to be turbulence pockets, right? That you can't escape it. And I turn it into such a practice, you know, whenever I'm in the turbulence, I practice, this deep centering, finding the peace within the turbulence. There is no way to run, right? You just surrender to the moment and you learn to deepen your trust. So experience of being on the plane and learning to surrender to turbulence taught me so much, you guys. It teaches me whenever I am in a regular life situation and I experience a business turbulence, or I experience relationship turbulence, I experience, some kind of a inner crisis turbulence. It's a signal to me, you guys, that I'm about to ascend to a new altitude in my life. And the turbulence is a part of the equation. It's a part of the ascension to the next level. And that epiphany brought a next level of freedom to me, you guys. And I wanted to share that with you. Because when you're in the middle of the turbulence, it's going to shake up every single survival mechanism in you. And it feels like it's never going to end. And it's only going to get intense. But seeing it in a new light, the bigger the turbulence, the higher the altitude that I'm about to ascend to. Jessica says Pleiadian here. That's right. Right. Well, if we're speaking galactic, you guys, according to different resources, I used to think that I was a Pleiadian most of my life, but I'm actually coming from Hadarian origin. It's all about unconditional love and, and really the heart frequency. Speaking about the heart, darlings, right? This is the portal, this is the sanctuary that I keep coming back whenever I am in the turbulence of my life. And once again, turbulence is a signal that I'm about to ascend to a whole new level of altitude. Yeah, Katie, amazing. Another question. I love your questions, you guys. Keep putting questions in the comments and let me know where you're logging in, and we're just gonna flow. I have no plan, I have no agenda. It's just simply creating this space to give a voice to what's in the field, to share from the heart, and to pass on that frequency of tranquility and serenity. Yeah, look at what Jason says. As a pilot, the turbulence is air moving in new, exciting ways, interacting with your vessel to remind you that you're going somewhere. That is so cool, Jason. Jason, respect. A next level of respect for this comment. That is so cool. I love that. I really do. That's right, you guys. That's right. Yeah, and I still don't like it, you guys. I still don't like turbulence. I still get butterflies in my stomach, right? But seeing it and knowing it, there is something exciting is coming your way, creates that level of openness and allowing it to be. Can you guys see me clear? Do you have a clear visual? Because I cannot see myself. I can only see it from my end. Let me know in the comments you guys can see me and it's not blurry or anything like that. Yeah. So, darlings, some of you know that I have this deep passion for studying this incredible wisdom teachings called the Gene Keys, right? Some of you, Ram, you guys can see me clearly. Nice, love it. But so many insights I took away and received from this wisdom, you guys. It's available to you. You can just go and start with a book. It's called The Gene Keys, Finding the Higher Purpose Hidden in Your DNA. And it's something, like you get transformed simply by letting that wisdom in. And it's not a race to get an enlightened or to get a big breakthrough. Actually, the more you chase a breakthrough, the more it eludes you. It's almost like you're stepping into a field of a new frequency, of a new understanding, of a new way of being with your life, and a new way of being with your inner world. and a new way of being with your emotions, with your thoughts, with other people. And that phrase, finding the peace within turbulence, it actually comes from the Gene Keys. The person who brought Gene Key transmission to us, Richard Rudd, he said if he could summarize entire teaching of the Gene Keys, it could be this: finding peace within turbulence. It really resonated with me, you guys, so deeply. I was like, that's it. Being able to feel the turbulence deeply, watching the old pattern, trying to find the rescue, find support, reach out for somebody else's hand, like I do on the plane, right? Sometimes. And watch that and keep letting go and keep trusting the moment. Keep trusting the moment. Keep relaxing into your life, moment by moment. Darlings, I will never claim that I figured this life out. I don't even claim that I'm fully awakened or anything like that. What I can vouch for is that I've learned to trust my life with every layer, with every level of turbulence. And I'm not a stranger, you guys, to these experiences when the rug being pulled off under my feet. It's actually a very common experience in my path. It's just part of the path. And with every moment where my life would be turned upside down by my higher self, by spirit, it was a deep invitation to trust life and to surrender into experience and not to doubt that life is on my side, that life is always, always on my side. Yeah, keep trusting the moment. My favorite way, you guys, it's like a mantra that I chant, and no matter who life brings me, for some reason I keep sharing this phrase, and I say, if you can find the ground underneath your feet, if you can find the beating of your heart, you have everything you require to meet the next moment with grace. Absolutely everything. Especially at the times where you feel like you're going through such massive turbulence and such unknown, you're so deep in the void. Life doesn't make sense. You feel like you're walking in deep, deep fog. Specifically then, you have everything you're required to meet just next moment, not next hour, just next moment. And that's how you move through the turbulence, moment by moment, learning to trust, opening through your heart, deepening your experience of, wow, life is a total mystery and I will never figure it out. And I actually don't want to figure out life. I would love to keep being enchanted by the mystery instead of trying to solve the mystery. How dry and boring life would be. I surrender to the mystery. This is the modern mystic words. I feel my mystic archetype, you guys, the moment I moved to Laguna Beach. No. Let me say it differently. The moment my spirit moved me to Laguna Beach, a beautiful chapter of my life began. I've been living here for almost 2 years, you guys. I went from a spiritual boot camp, 8 years in the desert, to moving straight to the ocean, to oasis for my soul, and my mystic archetype just took a central stage. And it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful, you guys. But before the oasis, you gotta walk through the desert. You gotta walk through the desert. And I walked through the desert, you guys, for 8 years. Deep sense of initiation, a lot of turbulence, a lot of unknown, a lot of shedding, a lot of digging deep into my own shadow and finding my own authenticity, because it was so deeply buried by all the masks, by all the survival mechanism and protective layers, all deeply buried underneath this massive fears. What if I show my true soul? And the majority will not be able to handle if I reveal the depths of my heart. right? But eventually you come to this realization, you guys, that it's very hard to breathe under the layer of the masks. It's actually a very suffocating way to live, right? So you start taking the mask one after another, revealing your true self, finding the confidence that your true self, your true authentic self knows how to trust life innately. Your identity, you're part of the ego, right? Some part of their shadow personality probably doesn't really know how to trust life. And that's okay. But your true self that you can find in your heart always knows how to trust life. Wow, so many questions, you guys. So many questions. Yeah, and that's what's in the field, my darlings. That's what in the field that I feel that we're all being called to a deeper level of authenticity, deeper level of transparency, where we are really just exhaling and saying, thank you, this mask that kept me sane at some part of my journey, right? That kept me protected, that kept me covered up. But I outgrew you. It's almost like, when you outgrow old clothes. They just don't fit you anymore. They don't represent this new you. Like you can tell so much by the colors that people choose to surround themselves with, right? When I was going through a very, very dark time of my life, I would wear only black. This is rare. You guys, right now I'm wearing black. This is actually rare for me. Most of the time I wear light colors. But I used to go to very, very dark time in my life. All my wardrobe was black. All my furniture was dark. And I did not notice that until I started opening my heart. And one day I walked into my house and I said, none of it resonates with me. This is not me. And I gave everything away and did the massive garage sale. I just purged it out and started my life new, like a blank canvas. Finding peace within turbulence. Through the heart, darlings. Yeah. Let me look at your questions. Oh, Kylie, I love you so much. Ankara says, what was the illness you were facing? When I face my wounded healer archetype, is that what you're asking? Yeah, you guys, I'll be happy to share with you briefly. How my sacred partner in mission, Yvonne de la Flor, I'm honored that woman. I'm so honored to serve alongside that leader, the beautiful, powerful light. And I'm so grateful, you guys. For the longest time, I felt so alone in my leadership. And it's just hard, it's just difficult to feel this alone. And that's authentic truth to you. And for the longest time, I thought it would be my romantic partner with whom, I would serve by my side. And I chose to let go of that. Maybe that's not it. And then, I began calling in my powerful allies as an intention, as a conscious choice, and letting go and shedding this. I can do this on my own. I can do this myself. It's an old paradigm. And what a beautiful, beautiful gift, you guys, when you call in the right ally to yourself and they show up. They will always show up. Just make a conscious invitation. So Yvonne is one of my allies in mission and evolution and purpose. And she often says, whatever we repress will find its way to get expressed. So Ankara was asking what kind of illness that I was initiated into. Well, When I was growing up, you guys, I grew up with very turbulent family, very turbulent. The most dominant vibration I could describe is instability, not knowing when the other shoe will drop, whether it's through the rage of one of my stepdads, whether it's through a binge drinking of my mother, whether it's through, collapse of the Soviet Union system, and we were working class one day and absolute poverty, nothing to eat for weeks next day, So entire dominant vibration was instability. And it's funny how my soul chose that path, because what is it that I serve right now is helping people step into full sovereignty, right? So going from instability to sovereignty has been a very long journey for me, you guys. And the illness came in my late 20s. I was 28. And it was a wake-up call, you guys. It was this archetypal experience. It's called an archetypal pattern that just erupts in your life, right? It's just a matter of time it's going to happen. It's a part of our journey. Every single one of us will experience the archetypal pattern that was suppressed, that was hidden, that was not dealt with. It's just a matter of time. It's going to erupt. So for me, it erupted at 28. And the archetype of the wounded healer. And the wounded healer archetype, you guys, is very unique. You're initiated through a wound that can look like a loss, that can look like a physical illness, that can look like a divorce, trauma, some kind of shakeup where you feel you're not in control of your life. No matter amount of money you have, connections, significance, right? When the illness comes in, you really get to experience your mortality. And the gift of the wounded healer, because every archetype has a lesson, a gift, and a treasure. And the gift and the treasure of that archetype, that you're being initiated into a wound that only you can heal. You're being given a wound that only you can heal. Others can help, can support, can encourage them, can point you in the right direction. But ultimately, only you can heal. So Ankaro asked me a question, what kind of illness that I battled. At 28, you guys, I went for a medical exam, and my doctor said, you really got to look at this report. You know that it's not a good news when you hear that, right, you guys? So I had all this anxiety just arising in me, and I'm saying, what? And she said, well, you have, if the cancer is a stage 5, you are on the stage 3, the late stage 3. So you really got to do something about this. That's right. Yeah. So mine was precancerous cells in my cervix, you guys. And at that time, I really wanted to be a mother. This right now, I am really not sure. But at that time, I was really, really confident that that's what I wanted. I really wanted to have a family and all of that. And in the flashlight, all of these dreams and illusions and projections just goes rug under your feet. And I did at that moment, the only thing I knew how to deal with unexpected. I decided not to deal with it and run away to Europe for 2 months. 2 months. I wanted to disappear from my life and not to deal with it. Yeah, you guys. So I took the report. I came home and I put it into the desk in one of the drawers, packed my bags, and booked a flight to Europe. So, as you can tell, I did not want to find peace in that turbulence. I just refused. I came back, went for another checkup after 2 months of traveling and being with myself. I came back and I went for a second opinion. Another doctor, and the doctor said, whoa, it's really progressing fast. You got to do something about this. So my very, very best friend, Chelsea, she was studying to be a naturopath at that time. And she said, sister, hold on to do surgery. Just take 30 more days, come to Arizona where she used to live, go through the series of naturopathic treatments. Just see if it's gonna help. Wow, Jessica says I had the same diagnosis. Wow, you guys, there is a thread, and I'm gonna bring you there, you guys, the biggest epiphany. So I took another month, and I went to Arizona, and I just immersed myself into every single holistic modality I could find. I surrounded myself with different healers, and I just went deep. I was so determined to go to the root, right? And energetically speaking, I knew I had to reach the root of energetics, what was happening. So imagine cervix, right? So this is a reproductive organ for a woman, which means it's a seat of unprocessed emotional trauma, seat of unprocessed sexual trauma, right? Those two, you can just count on them. And my brother, my spirit brother, reached out to me when I was going through like this deep, deep uncertainty and fear and distress, and just feeling like my body betrayed me. Feeling like, why is it happening to me? So young. He sent me a DVD by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. And you guys, I was not a newbie to spirituality. I feel at that time I was already walking the path, right? Not wanting to deal with the deep darkness. Still putting a nail polish on the darkness, still covering it up, still tiptoeing around it, still saying I'm fine, right? Still protecting family secret, still protecting family shadow. This is what we do when we're being trained to be a good girl or good boy, to protect the family shadow, okay? That's what I did. As early as I can remember, since 5 years old, protecting the family secret. All of my family neighbors knew that we were a chaotic family. But I was the only child who felt it was her responsibility to take this role of saying we're not that bad of a family. We have, some good. And I was representing, the best of the family. And covering it up with my 5-year-old body. It began that early, you guys. So that's exactly what's causing disease. Absolutely, darling. Absolutely. But here's, here I was having this diagnosis, right? And finally being kind of backed up against the wall by my wounded healer archetype, that I realized it's not about doing a surgery. It's not about holistic treatments. It's about going and facing the pain that has not been faced before. And I began watching the DVD, you guys. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. If you have never seen it, I encourage you to get it. I encourage you to watch it. It's incredible because, a lot of times we heal these things not just for ourselves, but for every soul that we get to meet on the path in the future. If you ask me, 10 years ago that this was what's happening, that I will be sharing my story on the live stream, it would be very, very hard for me to believe. But here we are. So whatever we heal for others, whatever we heal in ourselves, we not only heal in ourselves, we heal it for the collective and for everybody we meet. So I'm watching this DVD by Louise Hay. If you don't know who Louise Hay is, she just passed recently. She was truly an incredible spiritual leader. She was the founder of the Hay House, right? Really, really powerful, powerful spiritual leader. And at the time when she filmed the movie, you guys, she was in her late 50s, early 60s probably, or maybe 70s. She was telling a story how her entire life, she was the spiritual messenger. She was helping people to heal themselves to master their thoughts, to find peace within, and boom, at the age of 50, she gets what? Cervical cancer. How much synchronicity was that? You guys cannot even orchestrate this. You understand that your oversoul, your soul orchestrating these events in your life, right? And the archetype of the wounded healer took its central stage in my life. It brought the lesson. I was yet to uncover the gift, and I was yet to receive the treasure. So here I am, I'm sitting here listening to her story. And the moment where she was telling her story, how she was finally diving deep into her own sexual wound, into her own unforgiveness from her caregivers when she was a little girl, when she was abused. It just pierced my heart, you guys. And I broke down, and I cannot even call it cry. I wailed like a wounded animal for hours and hours and hours. And that was the first step. It was like the dam broke loose. And part of protecting your family secret and being a good girl, a good boy, is that you do not dare to reveal your true emotions to your mother, to your father, to your siblings. Because number one, in my family, I never felt like they mattered. I would be punished for my true emotions. And my parents already had so much going on. I did not want to what? Trouble them, burden them. I did not want to add another burden to the family shadow. So my little body, when I was a child, kept storing everything unprocessed, kept storing it. And growing up with 5 stepdads, you guys, one crazy after another. One more insane than another. I'm going to keep you from these details. It's a past. It's not necessary. But the archetypal journey, you guys, the violation of trust when it happens so early, what's being taken away from you is your innocence. And you become guarded and you don't trust people easily. There is this almost like a fight and flight response. Somebody gets close, fight and flight response. Don't get too close. So here I was, Ankara. That's what the wounded healer brought into my life, initiation into my wound that only I could heal. Nobody could heal it for me, you guys. Nobody. It was that meeting with my wound on that night when I wailed. What's that word? Wail, deep cry, like a wounded animal. Meeting my own wound. That's when when you meet your wound. Where you just meet your wound and you embrace it and you allow yourself to fall apart. Give yourself permission to express and to just dive into your inner world. And I believe, you guys, the healing began that moment. Really. The healing began that moment because I made the connection between the physical manifestation of the illness and energetic root of it. Once you make a connection, you receive the understanding, right? You get the gift. This is where I start. This is where the root is. This is where I get to look. This is where I get to bring all my love and all my light and all my forgiveness. And then forgiveness journey began. And this is why, Jessica, you asked me about ayahuasca. We're moving straight into your question because it's the beautiful synergy, right, you guys? This is when ayahuasca found me, when I was healing my heart, you guys, I found myself going through my very first massive heartbreak. And it was from I loved this man really, really much, really a lot. I thought I really met my match. You know, how many of you have ever had that experience, you guys, that you met your match, your equal match? It's a rare gift. It's a rare gift. And so I met my match, and he was a beautiful teacher for me. That love initiated me in my very first heartbreak and my very first depression. And I never, ever, ever had such a long 2 years in my life where everything was gray. And no matter what I did, you guys, I felt like my heart just kept breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking. And for the very, very first time, you guys, I got an experience of how it feels to be in a continuous gray experience, in a continuous darkness. Because no matter how difficult my childhood was, you guys, I was always an optimist. I was always the child who could find the silver lining, right? And the first time, it was the same year, you guys, 28, when I got initiated on the Wounded Healer, when I had my very first big heartbreak. It was the same year, you guys. So trust me, it was not easy. I ran to India, and that's why I love India so much. India was such a healing place for me. So that's when ayahuasca found me. And I remember my very first ceremony. If some of you guys don't know what ayahuasca is, it's a really powerful visionary plant teacher. It's a spirit, right? It's not something that you do by ordering ayahuasca on Amazon and doing it as a party. It's actually a very disrespectful way and a sure way to get yourself into trouble. It's a sacrament. It's a divine gift. It's a privilege. It's an honor to experience the teachings of the plants. And you guys, you know how animals are older than humans, but what's older than animals? Plants. Plants were way before us. Plants have their way of passing the wisdom from one dying plant to the younger plant, from one dying tree to a younger tree, right? There is a wisdom how plant kingdom communicates with each other. I always felt a deep reverence for the plants, you guys. It's a lineage, you know, it's the lineage that I carry, right? Of this natural connection to the sacredness of the earth. And yes, Ankara says, imagine how old the stones are. Yes, Ankara, I love imagining that. Exactly. That's exactly it. Crystal's intelligence. So you guys, ayahuasca found me when I was in the darkest pit and the deepest surrender. And, you know, just, she found me, and I came for the ceremony by, you know, one desire to heal my heart. And my biggest heartbreak, you know, with the man that I loved, who I thought was my match, my equal match, every single day, I am grateful to that person for helping me to break open the shell of that illusion so I could find my true love, which is my true spirit of my sacred heart. And actually, Jessica, I consider ayahuasca is my true beloved. If you want to go that deep, I have such a, you guys, it's one of the deepest relationships that I have. Is my primary teacher. Is my primary teacher. You know? And I used to sit a lot, you know, over 300 ceremonies. I've journeyed. Some of them were very deep and very tough. The ones that you don't know if you're going to come out of them. You know? Now I just it's almost like I consider the true ceremony is between the ceremonies, you know, where you receive these teachings, and then what do you do with them? So I don't come back to a next ceremony until I implement everything I receive. It's just a way to honor the teachers, because if you've been given that gift of actually ever being with any plant, San Pedro, peyote, you know, magic mushrooms, any plant teachers, it's a huge privilege and huge responsibility. Out of 7 billion people, right? You got such a gift and a privilege to experience that level of divine frequency through the plant wisdom. I do not take it lightly, you guys. I believe it's a huge responsibility and incredible gift. And it's not for everybody, you know. My best friend, Chelsea, never feels cold, you know, but she always loved to hear my experiences. And she has her own path. So some people find it through the plants. Some people find it through drumming and ceremonial dancing. Or some people love it, find, you know, healing of the heart by opening their heart to another and finding that healing through relationships or through motherhood or through service, through leadership. There's numerous ways to reach that mountain, right? That's called a realization of self. But to answer Jessica's question, yes. Yeah, it's a part of initiation. Let me take a look at your guys' questions. I love you. Yes, darling. You know, it's one of my teachers who I have so much reverence for. He's not the person who will ever be in a spotlight. That's why I will not mention his name, to honor his privacy. He's one of the teachers who actually will not be in a spotlight. He teaches by living very simply and living with transparency and integrity. And one of the things he taught me, he says, Katerina, remember to walk this earthly path as spirit, gently, knowing that your aura touches everybody you meet. So what kind of a soul print you're leaving behind? But the key phrase for me, you guys, is walking this physical life as spirit, gently. It was grace and humility. Yeah. And another thing he taught me is to pay attention when I close down my heart. You know? And usually it's in the moment of turbulence, right? How I started this live stream, finding peace within turbulence. Usually the turbulence really shows you your true spiritual state, how awakened you really are, right, you guys? It's easy to be awakened on a yoga retreat. I'm not saying those are bad or not needed. I lead retreats, you guys. I think retreats are incredible. They're amazing oases for recalibration of our frequency, for recalibration of our vision or mission. And it's much easier to be in a state of serenity when you're on a yoga retreat than when you are in the middle of the thick of your shadow or in the middle of the thick of your turbulence. But another thing that turbulence taught me, you guys, is my ability. Do I keep my heart opening and surrendering to it? Or do I contract in fear? How deeply do I trust life? Yeah. So my teacher taught me, he says, if you just take away that, You just pay attention to the moment of contraction and what closes down your heart. Almost like feel it, like, what's that moment? The moment you feel your heart begins to close, you simply notice it. And when you notice it, you make a new choice to open instead of to contract. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. I feel this moment I'm just feeling you guys. I know there's 20 people live, and there is way, way, way more who will watch this live stream later. I'm really grateful for your frequency, and thank you for sharing this soul station with me. This is to reminding each other that we can truly, truly trust life, and especially trust life's mystery. And my darlings, I kind of let go of this obsessive need to figure life out. I embrace the mystery. I don't want to know what's ahead. I would rather be delighted and surprised, knowing that I can find peace in any turbulence. And the only one thing I need to remember is to walk as gently as spirit, and to keep opening my heart and notice when I close it down and choose to come back and open it again. I love you guys. God bless you. That's it. That's it. Knowing that you can trust your heart. And like Ankara said, the stones are old. Then we have the plants. Then we have the animals. And then we have humans. So when I forget or I feel lost in life, I go to the ancient spirits. And that's animals, plants, crystals, elements. And I receive all the answers. And I remember that I have everything I require to meet next moment with grace. Until we meet again, I love you.